Hi there, I'm Anna K. Morris, your host and the creator of the Afundance Podcast. I am so happy to be here because here's what I know. When we are having more fun in life, abundance flows. I have been a life coach for the past 16 years. I watch it time and time and time again. When we are able to bring ourselves back to the version of us, that 3, 4, 5-year-old self that was having so much fun and not concerned about the outcome, the judgment, the people pleasing, the whatever it is, just having fun for the sake of having fun, wild things happen. Abundance flows, money flows in, relationships happen, love happens, houses happen, all of the things that we truly desire happen when we are in a state of joy and fun. So this podcast is here to help you have more fun. So what you can count on is tons of content in different ways, between interviews, co-host, to coaching videos of me helping you have more fun. And my promise to you is that I will always be having fun and infusing this podcast with the energy that you need to have abundance flow easily in your life. I love you and thank you so much for being here. Now, on to the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the mini series, day 2 of my beach vacation. And if you're watching this podcast with video, then you'll see this beautiful backdrop behind me. And I just want to go ahead and jump right in to the point of today's podcast, which is when you are trying to get something right, or when you are desiring a certain outcome, it literally kills off the possibilities. It kills off the joy and the fun. Sorry, the pool is down there and the beach is over the dunes, so you might hear some background noise, but you can listen through it, I'm sure. You literally kill off like what's possible and the joy that could happen. So a few minutes ago, I had just gotten off a coaching call. I did it in my bedroom because it was the quietest place. I have one kid that was watching a show and the other one that was going down for a nap. Jack and Dean, who you know by now. And so I was like, and I've got these beautiful pictures behind the bed and they're great, colorful fish. I really wanted that to be my background. So I'm like building a tower of things and then propping up, my camera so I can shoot this coaching video, or not the coaching, the podcast. And then as I'm about to hit record, I was like, well, this feels terrible. Like, I don't enjoy this at all. Even if you got the good shot, I don't think I can like say the podcast, do the coaching that I'm here to do with it so precarious that it's going to fall over. So I just was like, well, there must be a better place for me. And then as I was looking around the condo and looking outside, I was like, oh, well, I'd much rather be outside. I'm here to be at the beach. And then here, now there's the perfect backdrop. The dunes behind me, the fence, the beautiful chair. I can sit here and talk to you all day long, but I won't, because I know your time is precious and I appreciate you spending it with me right now. So my point is, as I was like trying to get it right, get it perfect, I was literally not having fun. And then I caught myself and I set it aside and said, the perfect place will show up. I can't wait to see where it is. And not 5 minutes later, I found this spot outside. So I say all of that because when we are attached to a certain outcome, it really does kill the fun. It really does kill what's possible, and it actually limits your ability to call in the abundance that not only do you want, but that's in alignment with you. So let me say more about that. When I met Derek, my husband, we've been married 10 years. When I met him, he told me he loved his job. And I remember thinking, at this point I was already a coach, and I was like, I don't think that you do, but I'm not going to say that right now because I just met you. But I think that you like it, and I think you're really good at it. And I knew it was important for him to be really good at something. Fast forward, we're in a coaching program together, and he starts to realize that what he really loved about his job was the culture and the people and the difference that he was making with them. But the actual work, he was in project finance in an oil and gas company, and specifically within accounting, the actual work was not in alignment. And I remember him saying something very specific to me when he was frustrated about money one day. He said, I work my ass off. I mean, he really did. He worked from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., would come home, work in the evenings, and work most weekends. So he was really grinding. And it was a big reason that when we got married, I really knew that having kids was not the right fit for us, because I knew I didn't want to be a single parent. And that to me felt a lot like a single parent kind of life. So there he is working all the time. And this is what he says. I feel like I work all the time, and I agreed with him. And he said, and for the amount of work that I'm doing, I should be making a lot more money. Something's off. And I said, well, yeah, because this is just something that you're good at, that you've taught yourself to do. But it's actually not what you're here to do. It's not what you're in alignment for with your soul and the world and who you're here to be. And so until you get into that alignment, you're always going to have a cap on how much you can earn. And I don't know that he agreed with me at the time. I think that he does now see that point. But it felt like he just kept hitting that glass ceiling that we refer to all the time. And that's what I'm talking about. When like he really wanted the outcome and the stability and like the money in the bank, and that was so important to him that he was willing to do something that was out of alignment, until one day he wasn't. And when we really want this certain outcome, we get these blinders on, and we can't see. He couldn't see that like actually the skills that he was learning is completely transferable and important in the work that he does now, building houses, which is what he has been doing since he was 4 years old. He's been drawing houses. If you've ever thought about building a home or remodeling a home, I say this not just because he's my husband. There's no one better than Derek, because I've watched him do it since he was a very young child. Like we knew each other when we were kids, and not long ago there were some house drawings that I said, when did you have time to draw these houses? And he was like, oh, I didn't draw these houses recently. They were from when I was 5 years old. My mom found them and brought them over and thought that I might want them. And I'm like, wait, you drew that house when you were 5 years old? So for me, I would always want to work with a person that like their 5-year-old self was drawing houses and remodeling houses. That's why I love so much that he's now doing it in his career. I mean, I've been coaching people since the time I was 4 or 5 years old, right? Like I was always making a dance party. I was always bringing people together. I was always making a classroom. I was always giving people homework, which of course I would love doing that with my coaching clients now, right? Like I could always like see the next thing and bring people to it. And then the minute it got like mainstream or popular, I was out. I was not interested, because I know from the time I was a very young kid, I liked being at the beginning of things, right? Once it's popular with everybody, like I'm looking for what is the next thing that is different that we can do that's so much fun. So, which is some resistance that I had to like doing a podcast, because I was like, everybody's doing a podcast. And then I realized like, no, everyone's not doing a podcast. Just the people that I know are doing podcasts. And also, even if everybody had a podcast, they're still not me. They're still not you. It's so super fun. And that's when I started this, was when I let go of what the outcome was. When I let go of like, somebody said to me, oh, well, you just want to have like a lot of people listening and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's nice, but that's not why I'm doing it. So I'm doing this podcast because I love shooting these videos. I love sharing what I've learned. I love thinking that something that I've gone through could make a difference for another person. That another person would not have to have it be as hard or as much suffering as I have created for myself because of a story that I shared. Which brings me to my next story, and then I'll wrap it up. This past week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess now, I had the privilege of going on a women's retreat in Waco, Texas, and it was phenomenal. I will put in the show notes the woman who organized it, Amanda Lovell. I love you so much. You're amazing. And she planned a pottery class for us before. So those of you who have ever done pottery, you can start laughing right now. So here you have 6 high-achieving women taking a pottery class. All of us for the first time, except for one person. And here's how it goes. The teacher says, you're all gonna make something and then you're gonna be able to take 2 things home. So out of the gate, we're outcome driven. She doesn't say, which I wish she would have in hindsight, she doesn't say, just play around with the clay, see what it feels like, put your foot on the wheel, have it spin around, get your hands wet, get your hands dirty, right? Like there's this thing that you have to do to like get the air out of the clay. And again, I hope you're watching this video and not just a podcast, but either way, you like pull your hands up. It literally is so phallic. You're like making a penis and then smashing it down. Then you make another penis and then you smash it down. And like as a woman in a house full of like 5 penises in my home, or 4, how many penises? 5. 2 dogs, 2 boys, and a husband. That was really fun for me to like make a penis and smash it down. And had that been the class, we would have had a great time. It would have been so much fun, except that's not what happened. And I'm not here to say that it wasn't also a good time, but for several people, myself included at certain moments, we got really frustrated and we got really mad when it wasn't working. And by working, I mean when we weren't getting the result that we came there to get, which is, by God, I better have 2 bowls/ashtrays, right? Because that's what everything ends up being. That I can take out of here and be kind of proud of, not totally embarrassed by. So here's what happens. One of the women gets pretty upset. I think she calls it quits. I don't think she takes anything home. I got mine perfect, and then I pushed it a little too far and the edge fell off, which is always what I do. I was like, oh, there I go again, going a little too far, having a little too much fun with it, trying to get it a little too perfect, and then I F it up, right? And it was just a myriad of things like that. And then fast forward to dinner. We're talking about the pottery class, and people start saying that the teacher was no good, that she really wasn't a very good teacher, that if she had been a good teacher, she would have helped us to have a better and done it XYZ. And as a coach, I'm sitting there listening and I'm thinking, it doesn't have anything to do with the teacher or with the coach. It has to do with how much we wanted a certain outcome called a good bowl, something that wouldn't embarrass us, something to take home. And you kill off the fun. That class could have been so much fun if we were just like, let's play with clay and see what happens and see how it feels on our hands and spin it around and like make something really ugly. And who can make the ugliest thing? Who can make the weirdest thing? Who can like, I made something that was all wobbly and she was like, oh my gosh, this would be an amazing like peanut M&M jar. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be, because I have kids that love peanut M&Ms, and like having them in my home in this wonky little thing that I made, they would love that. So my point is, wherever you are not having fun, consider it's because you're attached to the outcome. And as long as you are attached to a certain kind of outcome, you're keeping a lid on things, right? You're Derek keeping the corporate job that's pretty good money, but it's never going to blow the lid off. Because when you are really set on having that safety, having that stability, having that certain outcome, you will not thrive. You will not have as much fun as possible. And when you are having fun, when you are bringing your enthusiasm, that's when abundance flows. When you look at the actual word, the root word of enthusiasm, it comes from the Greek word, which I'm Greek, so I love that from like my big frat Greek wedding, that like everything is Greek. Everything is Greek. Enthos means to be with God. Your enthusiasm is your dance with the universe. It is you in communion with God. So when you are not having fun, it's killing off your life force. The reason I shot this video, besides all the the stuff that I just told you was actually spurred on not only from the pottery class, but from my son just now. We're at the beach and we're at a place with 3 swimming pools. In one of the swimming pools, I was teaching him to swim a little bit and put his face in the water and then do his strokes, his hands out of the water. And he did it a couple of times. And then when he started like wanting to get better at it, and when he saw me do it, now keep in mind, I was a competitive swimmer for most of my life and taught swim classes for a decade. So when he sees me do it, he got really upset, started crying, and said that he could never do it, that he would never be like that, and he was not even going to try, and he's hysterically crying, and he quit on the spot. He's not even wanting to try because he looks at me who's doing it perfectly, or like really well. I don't even subscribe to perfect, but anyway, I'm doing it well. I'm also 44 years old and have like a body that I can manage. He's 4, right? Like how could you compare the two? But he's not even going to try because he knows it's not going to look like mine. And that's what literally kills us, right? Now he's having a temper tantrum and we find ways and we're having our own temper tantrums. So wherever you're upset, I really want you to take a look at it and see if you're really hooked on that outcome. And if you are, could you set it aside? Could you come back to the fun with it? Could you let yourself play? That is our life force. That is the way to abundance. And I don't just mean abundance in a financial way. I mean abundance of love, abundance of health, abundance of peace, right? All of the things that we often associate that we will have when we have money, we can have right now in this moment. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I will be back from the beach again tomorrow. And thank you for listening and watching. Bye. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I have a free summer fun summit that is happening next week, June 3rd, 4th, 5th, with a workshop day on the 6th where you can work personally with me on the 6th for only $27. The rest of it is free. I would love to have you there. You can go to my website, annakmorris.com, click on the top bar. It's the Summer Fun Summit, and I'm going to teach you along with 9 other amazing women experts that happen to be my friends. I'm so lucky. And we're all going to be teaching you how to have more fun this summer. I love you. Go sign up. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. My intention with every single Afundance podcast that you listen to is that you go out and find a little more fun in your life. Not only do you find it, but that you create more fun in your life, because when fun flows, so does abundance, ease, joy, peace, what we are all really craving. And it ultimately comes down to connection with others, but deep connection with our own 4-year-old self. Thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I will see you next time.